Okay, so basketball and the Bible. What if you actually took the lessons from one and, applied them to the rules of the other? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. A story where the basketball court is, believe it or not, a place of faith.
I mean, it's a really interesting question when you think about it. Can faith actually change the way a game is played? And does the game then change how kids think about faith? Well, we're going to look at a place where that exact experiment is playing out every single week, right there on the court. So let's get specific. We're talking about the 5G Basketball League down in Tampa, Florida. And look, their whole mission is super clear. It's not just about, nailing a free throw. For them, it's about connecting these kids to something they believe is way, way bigger than just the game itself.
But here's the thing. To really get why this league even exists, you can't just look at the drills and the games. No, you have to go deeper.
The absolute game changer. This quote right here. The idea that you can't do enough good stuff to earn God's grace. You just have to ask. That's why they call it grace. It's not something we deserve. It's a gift.
And that was the turning point. Right there, he realized all his work wasn't about earning salvation, like he was trying to pay off a debt. It was a response to already feeling saved. It wasn't a transaction anymore. It was all about gratitude.
So how does this all connect back to basketball? Well, he took that incredible feeling, that whole new perspective, and turned it into a game plan. This became the philosophy for the whole league, the 5 Gs.
Okay, so the first G is glorify. And the idea is pretty simple. Playing basketball isn't just playing basketball. Every single pass, every shot, it's all seen as a chance to glorify God, to love each other, and to honor something bigger than just winning the game.
The second G is gospel. Think of this as the how-to part. They focus on the stories of Jesus, his healing, his parables, to learn how to become more like him. It's less about abstract theology and more like a practical playbook for life.
Number 3 is grace. And this one ties right back into the founder's big aha moment. I mean, think about it. For these kids, it's a huge message. You're going to mess up. You're going to miss that shot. But grace means you get to get back up and try again. It takes away that fear of failure.
And of course, that flows right into the fourth G, gratitude. It's like, okay, if grace is this amazing gift, this second chance, well, the only real response is to be thankful. So they work on developing an attitude of gratitude for everything. And the fifth and final G is grit. This is where faith and the hardwood really slam together. It's about perseverance, right? It's about using the heat of competition to teach these really important life lessons, building the strength you need for whatever life throws at you.
All right, so those are the 5 Gs. A great philosophy. But how does that actually show up on the court? Let's take a look at how it all plays out in a real game. On one side, you've got the concept, God's grace, which is unearned. And on the other side, the league rule that comes from it. Strive to win, sure, but don't obsess over wins and losses. The real focus is on getting better, on developing as a player and a person.
And this stuff is woven into the whole game day. You've got pre-game devotionals, there's on-court prayer right before tip-off. The coaches are told their job is to be a light for the kids. The league's philosophy, it all circles back to one single book. And what's interesting is the founder's big message isn't about trying to convert people, it's an invitation to just be curious.
And his argument for that curiosity starts with a pretty wild fact. No matter what your beliefs are, the Bible is and has always been the #1 best-selling book of all time. End of story. I mean, just that fact alone makes you think, what's in there?
And you can come at it from so many different angles. It's not just one thing. For some, it's about a personal connection. For others, it's a historical text. Or you could just see it as a collection of really powerful stories that have shaped, well, everything.
And that's really the founder's whole point. He's not telling skeptics they have to believe. He's just saying, hey, maybe just explore it a little before you make up your mind. He wants people to see for themselves why this one book had such a huge impact on history, and of course, on a life like his.
His argument is that a lot of the loudest critics have never actually, read the book. And his invitation is super simple. Just take a peek. Be curious before you come to a conclusion. It's a call to just be open-minded.
So it all comes down to this, really. We've seen how a simple 15-minute-a-night habit, sparked by one book, took a guy from his absolute lowest point and inspired him to build this entire community for kids. And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. If that's what he found in there, what might you discover if you just decide to take a look?